Hello and welcome to another session of AZMAT System tutorials. We will continue with the risk management systems commands on the Y menu. This one as well, we're using Windows 10 and Excel 2010, which is XL14. 5, help, see that Microsoft Office Professional Plus 2010, Excel version 14. So go in here, again, Excel 2010 version 14 there. And if you have a look at system info, it will tell me about the operating system, Windows, Microsoft Windows 10 Home. Okay, let's go back. So let's begin by opening the program file as usual. This is on, I'm using drive F, Excel 2010. And the AZMAT system directory, program file, AZMAT, the first file, AZMAT.xls, open as read only, always. Simple 2-character password just for the file. You could make it more complicated if you like, longer version, whatever. AZMAT system password, this is slightly longer. Using letters AA as my ID. You could choose your own 2-letter ID and then the password 4-digit. And all the menu systems are here on the I think this is I need to, because it's maximize the window, I need to actually put it back to what it should be, the size here of this window. Then I have all my command icons as well here. Right, now, first thing as I do, and you may notice always, is to go back. So our menus, Excel, AZMAT system menus are under add-ins, in from Excel 2007 onwards. Here, different way. Earlier versions, you would have it, all these J, K, X, G, all these menus would be here. Earlier versions of Excel, as you know. Right, in here, first thing I do is go in here, U menu, and save the AZMAT data file. You see this file I have. Reason is that I want to see the date and time stamp here. So I save it here right at the beginning. So I get the time here, date, time stamp. There. So it's 12:31 a.m. It's midnight on the 16th of August 2018. Okay, let's go in here. First thing, if you look at it now, if you're here, you can see that's the only file open and not hidden. There are many files open. If you look here in the unhide window, there, all these are AZMAT system program files, which are opened by the system as it needs them from time to time, if they are in memory all the time. So cancel that. Right, so first thing I'm going to do now, we are going to concentrate on this from the previous tutorial. You notice we did these, first was in here, these, then the next one we did from there to there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I think the last one we finished here, all instrument correlation currency or commodity. And now, instrument correlation all instrument correlation currency or commodity. I'm just trying to get these things in the correct order. All instrument correlation, same instrument correlation. So we did the commands 3 and 4. Right, and the last tutorial we did up to here. In fact, we did these 4. So today we'll continue from here onwards. But before we do that, we're going to just jump up ahead here, in fact, to open previously created query file, because this is part of the thing you need to know anyway. So we'll go there first. And before I actually open that, use that command there, I want to show you something. In here, we've already seen change to AZMAT query text file. That's where all the AZMAT system query files are stored. But when you begin the system, when the AZMAT system is started, is actually, if I show you here on the U menu, the user's own directory. That's where it leaves the directory open. All the files, program files are opened and stored in here, AZMAT program directory. But once it finishes all that, see the ones I had shown earlier on, when we saw here, unhidden one, all these files, all of them are stored under the AZMAT system or subfolder or subdirectory of AZMAT system. Okay, so, but we want to now actually go and, but when it finishes all that, then as you can see here, this is the only file, your user's file there, open and not hidden. And for this purpose, it'll actually uses the directory changes to AZMAT directory, just that. So if you're using this system from F directory, as in this current case, the directory will be F:\AZMAT. So I'll just show you that. So if you say file open and F, then AZMAT. It's not the same as, you know, see, from the F on that AZMAT. That's not that is where your user files are stored. Now the actual program files are all here under the Excel subfolder, subdirectory of Excel. So here, that's where the program files are, but this AZMAT is just from the root directory. So F:\AZMAT is this one. All these files are stored. So as you may notice, all the files begin with AA, because those are my initials. I'm using it for this. Whenever I use AZMAT system, I decided to use AA. You could use whatever combination of 2 characters of your choice, and all your files will be saved, and the system will give those 2 letters of the current user's ID. And in the same here, also you have the ini file. So AAINI.xls or .xlsx, which is the current one because I'm using this under Excel 2010, whereas the XLS, these will be up to the earlier versions of files. Okay. Now, right, so let's, and that's where your preferences are stored. Preferences for, just before I go, I'm just going to show you here. So we are, that is the directory we are here. Now your text directory is AZMAT text, which is a subfolder, subdirectory of AZMAT program directory. This, where your user files are stored, are under AZMAT of the whichever disk drive you're using. I'm using drive F, so it's under the drive F AZMAT. That's where it is. Okay, so now I'm just going to come out of it, cancel. I'm not going to do anything here. As you can see here, all the files here are all XLS or XLSX, depending on what you, because I've been using most of it on the XLSX. That's right. But if I was using earlier version of Excel, which would be here, for example, under Office 95, and then if I click here, then there is Excel, and then there is AZMAT there. So there are different versions of X, whichever. So here, it will be different. So this is not actually showing here, but this here, if I go there, is a different file altogether. Anyway, we'll cancel this altogether. Now I'm going to just go and change I can change it from here, change to AZMAT query text file, or under the Y menu as well, I have the same command. These three, change to AZMAT query text file directory or bond database files, or the change to volatility and correlation files directory. They're all, these three commands are also here, exact same commands. So you can have same command in different menus if you want to. Reason I have these three under the Y menu is because they all are applicable for the risk management system files. So I have them there, but I also have them here together with the AZMAT change user's own directory and change to AZMAT program directory, because then anybody using any of these menus, there are altogether 200 commands. They know the utility menu has got the general commands, if you like, which apply to everything. Now we are going to just, I'm going to change this here. Screen update feature normally is off. I'm going to change it on. So let's just do that first. Turn on all screen updates, or turn on screen updates for only cash flow discount factor days. Right now we're not doing cash flow discount factor days. I want everything on. So I'll click OK to turn that. And it's letting me know that that's what it's going to do from now on. So whatever command is used, it'll actually, you'll see the different files changing. Sometimes it'll be just too quick. You probably wouldn't even notice. A file will be there for literally half a second and then disappears. Another file will be there and so on. But there are commands which take time, so you will see what it's doing. Okay, last time in the last tutorial, we created quite a few query files using these and this one here. So we have about maybe, I don't know, 10, 20 files there in that text directory. So let's have a look at it now, or in here. I think this one, because the earlier ones were in a different one. But on here, let's, so we'll change it to the AZMAT query text file. Okay, so this time after I click that, then I go file open, you'll see it'll have all the files ending with text. But just before that, I'll just show you here, okay? If I go here, file open, we are here, AZMAT, this AA.xls and so on, right? So there's no text files here. Cancel that. I'm going to go here and say, I could actually just use from the file open and change the directory myself manually, but it's much simpler and quicker. I just go here, click, change to AZMAT query text files directory. I don't have to do that. In order to open previously created, I could just simply do that, and it will then open it, the files I want. But this way, I just want to show you first the files we had created in the previous tutorial. So change to AZMAT query text files directory, right, is done. If I say file open, and you can see that all those files we saw, we can't see anything because we are in a different folder, different subdirectory. This AZMAT text is the subfolder or subdirectory of AZMAT program file directory. See if I go and see here, you will see here under there, I'm under the F directory, XL2010, and in here, under the AZMAT program file, there AZMAT text. That's where we are. If I click here, you'll see nothing will happen here because it will still be the same. No items match your search. Basically, right now, Excel normally always defaults, if you like, shows the only Excel files. You can see that all Excel files, extensions, but we can change that if you want, but normally it will be that. That's why, because the sub files we're looking at, they're all text files. That's why you can't see it, but we can see that in a second. I'll just show you that. But before I do that, I just want to show you that if I click here, that will be the same. And also, you wouldn't be able to see anything. It'll be exactly the same as this screen here, because that's the same directory. I'm here now. Excel 2010 and AZMAT, then AZMAT text. Right, in order to see the text files, I can either in here use the down arrow and go for here, look for text files, click this, because this is .prn, .text, or .csv, or simpler, actually just click on the all files. So you don't need to worry about which, what extension, file extension, which one it is. Just click on the all files. And there you can see that we've got quite a few text files. And these were created in the previous tutorial, 129, I think. So in here, all these files are here, and you can ask AZMAT System to open any. You could actually file open manually. You could open it if you like. So we are actually on the file open, and I can click on any of these and open it. But I want, instead of doing that, I want to use the actual command. So change to AZMAT query text file directory. We did that in order. That's how we can see that the text files, all the text files where they are. But this command, open previously created AZMAT query file. I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to actually open it now. Now we know the directory is the AZMAT query text file directory, which we just saw. And then later on, I'm going to change the directory to perhaps the user directory and use that command again. Okay, so let's say open previously created AZMAT query file. Now it expects you to enter a file name. Now, as you can see, it's giving me enter full file name, full name of the file, and then click OK. It's saying ZB AZMAT.xls. This is not query file. This is basically last time. This is a file. This is actually as a swap model of AZMAT System, which if I click, I'm just going to cancel it just to show you. Yeah, canceling. I'm canceling this command. You see from here, J menu, B, AZMAT System. This is the asset swap model of AZMAT System. So ZB AZMAT.xls is actually for this particular file. When last time I had opened it, that's why it's in its memory. It's stored there, so it's actually giving that option. It was saved with the file. So that's why it's there. But it doesn't matter. When you give a file name now, the next time you open another, it will be the previously stored file. So I'm going to now go back here. And if I don't remember what the file name is, I have to enter the file name. Now, this is where it comes in handy to actually have the text directory. Then you can see yourself which file name it is, and then do that. Okay, but I can actually, just from my memory, I can just enter one of the ones. So for example, I think I may have one file called MC1229 _1 definitely I have, but there are quite a few others as well I have. But let's just open the one for sure I know I have, 1.txt. Right, so please enter full name of the file and then click the OK button. So I remember this, I have it there, but we can later on, after we've opened it, we'll go and check the other files as well. So we've got some idea of what they are. So, and if I've entered incorrectly, if it doesn't, all will happen. It will just simply, the AZMAT system will give an error message saying file doesn't exist. Simple as that. So it's not a big deal. If you get it wrong, doesn't matter. But you can always go back and check it. So that's the one I want to open it. So MC1229_1.txt. Right, there it is. MC1229_1.txt. There. This is what I created, one of the correlation query file. I'm just going to make this window a bit shorter in here. So this is the one. It says it has 115,921 rows of data. Out of that, it extracted for the US dollar. I had asked for the correlation for the US dollar for all the instruments, whatever. So there were 9,891. So if I go down here, scroll down, I'm going to just just split the window so I can see, keep the top as well. So it should be 9891. 9891 matching records. Now you might say, well, this is 9898, the last row used. Well, that's because, if you notice here, I've got here first 5 rows taken by these headings there. Then I have another 2 there, 7. And if I take out 7 rows from 9898, I'll get 9891, which is what it had. So the actual matching records, correlation data, that's what it is. 9891 from there, from row 6 to row 9896. Okay, so that's what I had stored. Did some we used quite a few of these commands in the last tutorial. Okay, so that's where they are. From here, I think they're all the ones we saw, about 20 or so is from there. And for these 4 commands only. These were done on a different machine there, the previous day or 2 days before. Right. Okay. Now, now before I do that, I want to actually this time go and have a look at those files. One of the files I've opened this one. This name is gone because it's underneath behind this one. If I click somewhere else, then it disappears. But I can also actually make it slightly shorter. So next time I use one of these menus, then finish with that. It's not going to hide my name. I can see that file name. I want to have a quick look at it manually. I say file open, because that's where we had left the directory. .text. So I can choose one of these, or I don't actually even need to choose that. I'll just say I opened it, I think MC1229_1. So that's the one we have it open currently. MC1229_1.text. So let's open one of the volatility one, maybe the daily correlation one, this one, and I'm going to open it as read only. As you notice here, the last one as well here, read only, automatically it open read only. The idea is you may be, although in your case, you are using it on your own, on your PC, one user. But since AZMAT system was designed for enterprise use, so literally hundreds of people could be using it in one company from the same disk drive, which is in one of the network directories more likely. So it always will open these files, the query text files, in read-only mode, so that other people can also open it and read-only mode, and they don't need to, unless you really need to edit. And you wouldn't need to edit this file because this is one of your this file created as a result of a query, because you asked it to say, get me all the correlations for US dollar. That's what this is here. So you wouldn't need to change the values either of the actual theta. So that's why. Now this is, of course, when you're, this is, remember, now this is, I'm opening it manually. I said file open in Excel, so now I've got to go and select, is it this or is that, or that, answer all the queries and that. Whereas if I simply use AZMAT System, you don't need to do anything other than just give the file name, and it will do that. So if I say, right, okay, next stage, finish it, let's finish that. So it's done that, DC1229 underscore, because I could have gone next step, again chosen something else if I wanted to. See, this was the one I opened using AZMAT System. And this is the another one, DC1229 underscore 2. Now, okay, let's use, in here, we actually have, let me just see quickly, let's just look at one of the names which may want to open. So we'll open maybe, yes, maybe one of these perhaps. So MC1229E underscore E, right? MC1229 underscore E. I have no idea which one it is, which query file, but when we open it, we'll know. So MC1229 underscore E dot text. You don't need to remember that there, because each command has got written the actual what the command was used. In this case, gold, that was used, all the correlations. So if I now go in here, in the Y menu, I say open previously created. So I said MC1229 underscore E, if you remember, that's what I decided. I don't need to enter capital letters all the time. I can enter small letters or capitals or combination. You know, I can make it small m, capital C, or capital M, small c. And here TXT could be small case letters as well if I want. The system will automatically convert to uppercase. Right, enter full name of the file and then click the OK button. So remember in here, now this file, first, this file I had opened using AZMAT System command. All I had to do was give a name, file name. This file I opened using Excel, file open, and then it came up with another dialog box. I had to select which format it is and all that. In AZMAT System, you don't need to do all that. The system itself will take care of that. All you have to do is give the file name. So MC1229 underscore E dot text. And that's, again, I'm going to make it smaller so we can see other files as well. And this is a very much different. That was for gold, matching everything for gold. You can see gold there, and you can see that here, correlation of gold. And this was for correlation file for US dollar. And US dollar currency had 9,891 matching records. Whereas for gold, because the number of instruments is only one, C00, so the matching records are only 481 out of this total. Total is the same file, it's actually a correlation file. In this case, it's 115,921 records. Out of those, 481 were correlation records for gold. And for US dollar, 9891. And this one is a different query. This is getting the, for gold, we are for copper, all the commodity beginning with C underscore means C, and after that it could be whatever other character. So for example, here we have C00, C03, C15, C27. If I had this C1 underscore, then it will get only for C15 here. So because underscore stands for in AZMAT system I'm using, not just everywhere, but it's just for this particular in the risk management here, I'm using this my own way of doing. So I'm using underscore to mean whatever the character is. As you know, in general in computing, sometimes an asterisk is used. Asterisk is used, or question mark. Asterisk is used for one or more characters. More likely, always more than one, because if it is just one character, normally you use question mark. But it's different. But in here, I've decided to use underscore. So if I have C underscore means C, whatever else after that. So 00, 03, and for goal, for this particular instrument type C commodity. In fact, for the goal, that is the only one we have, C00. So it has only 4 matching records. Compare that with this one here, 9,891, and this one had gold for everything against all the other currencies and commodities, everything, 481. But the gold for copper, all the instruments for copper here, there are only 4 records. Right, we can now proceed with the actual. So we've done that opening previously created query file. Just one more thing before we leave this. I had this changed to AZMAT query text files. Right? So currently it is still, we are in the, if I say file open, you'll see I'm in the text file directory, still AZMAT text. See, all these are text files. That's where your query files are stored. And that's what it is now. So I'm just going to remember, let's say we get it, well, we might as well get one of these volatility as well, say DV 1229 underscore 2.txt. That's what I'm going to open it, but not yet. First, I'm going to change the directory back to the user directory, which is here, F:\AZMAT. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to get AZMAT systems changed, much quicker, simpler, straightforward. But then I'm going to use that command to open one of these files, which I think I decided I'll use this one. So no, this one, daily volatility, because we've got all the others correlations. So I just want to show you a different one, volatility. So DV 1229 underscore 2. That's the file name I'm going to give. But before I do that, I'm going to ask it to change the directory or folder to the user directory, for example, back to this one. Okay, so this one right now is, the one we have is here. 2010 AZMAT text. So 2010 AZMAT text. So that's where we are here right now. If I click here, you'll see this will not change, should be the same, because that's where I am actually right now. There, it's exactly the same. But this AZMAT, the user directory is this one, AZMAT. So you will get, as you start using AZMAT system regularly on your own machine, you'll soon get the hang of it, because this one, the idea here is whether I'm using AZMAT system, for example, in here, 2010, which is from there, or I could use an earlier version of which would be, for example, here under Office and then AZMAT. So this would be Excel version 7, or I could use the 2003, 2007, whatever. So the idea is wherever I'm using, whichever directory or folder, whichever version of Excel I'm using, your user directory will be only one. That's why I've got it here in one place under the root directory, not each one. Otherwise, you'll have to have each of these files in here, several user directory for each version of Excel. Does make sense. So that's why I've decided to use under the root directory. And then, so if you say AZMAT F colon, in this case, F, could be G, could be C, could be D, whatever, then AZMAT, that is your user directory. I'm not going to change it yet. I'm going to get the AZMAT system to change, then we'll have a look at it. So we are right now here, which is just going to close this because it's going to get a bit confusing if you have too many here open. So this is Office 95. I just wanted to show you that I have on the same drive a different version of Excel, which I could use it. The one currently I'm using is Excel 2010, and the files here are there's the AZMAT system program files, and there's the AZMAT text. That's where I am right now. I'm going to cancel this command. I'm going to ask it to go and change to the AZMAT user directory, which is this one, F colon /AZMAT. Okay, let's see that. So there, I'm going to go back here. It's not in here. I know that, but I'll just show you it's not here. This got only the actual TDJ. All these are the volatility and correlation files, bond database files, and the query text files. They're all here for this one. But I have got on the utility menu, user's own directory and the AZMAT program directory, and those are the TDJ, same what we had there. Okay, so change to change to user's own directory. Done. Now, if I go and use the file open, you'll notice we are back to we are actually here. There. That's the one there. If I click here, this again should not change because that's where I am. There. See? There. So this is where I am right now. No text files because it's not the you may notice these are some other files which we'll come to later on. They are also query files, but in a different way. No, not the ones we are using right now, and that's why they've got a different format. But we'll come back later. But this is the AZMAT user directory. There. So let's open using this here. Open previously created AZMAT query text file. Remember, we are actually right now, the current directory is AZMAT user directory. There, user's own directory, which is F colon /AZMAT. Right now, we're going to open another query file, which will be opened from here, AZMAT query text file, because that's where it is stored. You don't have to give it the name because file directory, because it's automatically AZMAT system it's assuming that's where it's stored, that's where it's get it from, to save time as well. Right, okay, so we go here. Right, we are saying open previously created AZMAT query file. If you remember earlier on, just suggested I'll say db1229_2.text, of course. So when it asks me the file name, I'm going to change it to, because C stands for correlation, M for monthly. So we have the monthly correlation file, and we have another monthly correlation file. We have a daily correlation file. Now I want to get the daily volatility. So it will be DC. D for daily, C for, no, sorry. I meant volatility one. I want to open it, not the correlation. DV. V is for volatility. So daily volatility 1229 underscore, and I don't think I have E. In fact, if I use this command, it should come down and tell me there's an error, the file doesn't exist. Let's do that, because this should be 1 or 2, because I know I have those two stored. I definitely do not have this particular file name, but I'm going to enter it and see what happens. It should come up as saying file doesn't exist. There, error. Please check your entry db1229 underscore e.text for AZMAT query text file name. Right? Error. Check your entry and either enter correct name or cancel this command and check the name in the appropriate directory. So sometimes if you by mistake you enter the name, and if it comes up with a message like that, that it doesn't, it's asking you to check it. This is where what you do is, if I now just let's just show you. So I'm going to cancel this command in a minute, in fact, and then I want to show you something. So this is where we said the file name 1229. The one correct name is db1229 underscore 2.text. That's what I wanted to enter, but I've deliberately entered incorrect just to show you. So I'm going to first click OK. It says, for either enter correct name or cancel this command, and checks the name in the appropriate directory. Let's say I wasn't sure whether what the file name is. So first thing I need to go and check the name. So that's where I'm going to, for now, I'm going to click OK now, and then I'll click cancel to cancel the command. So instead of entering here, number 2, I'm going to cancel the command, and it's asking you to confirm. You actually do want to cancel the command. So then you have to click cancel again, or return, OK to return to input box. This is there so that you may have made, by mistake, you might have pressed the wrong button. So I've got that there. It's all in your programming comes. When you come to program, you can decide whether you want to do that or not. There are certain times where it can become a bit annoying because you said cancel it and then it again asks you, you might say, why is it asking me again? But so, different people have different choices. So I decided in this particular case, I will give the user a choice because they may have made a mistake. So file open, I just want to show you which directory we are in now, right now. See, we are still in the users directory, right? This is the F colon there. That's the one we are right now. But click here, you'll see that it will not change. It will be there because that's where it already is. F colon, AZMAT, there. That's where I am already. Although in here you may have noticed it may have moved it there, but it doesn't matter. That didn't change the directory. Directory is still the same. So here you've got these files, but these are not the query files, not the ones we are looking for, .text. And see here, it's got all files already here. So it's not that it's missing out. So it's not the folder. But the fact that the one we entered, if I choose that again, it did fine. Not because you gave the wrong, it was looking in the wrong directory. Previously created, I gave, because this time I've asked, because I had canceled the command, so it canceled it completely that, whatever the last name was. I'm going to enter the, before I enter, I'm just thinking one thing. I do remember the name. I do know it's db1229 underscore 2.text. However, we saw that the directory, the folder is, if you didn't know, you might wonder, oh, okay, I'm just going to cancel it. We'll show you I'm canceling it. You might say, oh, well, file, open, I don't remember the name, and then where is it? Oh, I can't find the text files and all. So don't try and see, oh, where it is on my file, which one it is, which directory, all that. Might just get confused, and you might say, oh, is it that? Is it that? So my advice to you is simply don't try and do that. Take the easy way out. Get AZMAT System to tell you exactly where it is. So you can use either in the Y menu, you can say change to the AZMAT query text file. There, it's done it. So now if you actually say file open, you can see all the text files. They're all there. And remember, this one, if this is normally left at the Excel, show Excel files, because that's what normally is. First time we saw, it won't show any files. You might wonder where it is, but always you can check the directory here, shown. It is in the correct one, AZMAT text. So what you need to do is make sure you change this, not just looking for Excel files, because you want the .text. So either go for here text files there, then it shows all the text files here, or you could have changed, get the same thing, same result by simply just say all files. Same thing. It will show in here because in the AZMAT text file in this folder we are used. That's why I've actually named it as well. AZMAT text. That's the name gives us a clue is in the name. So this is all the text files are here, text files. MSC for miscellaneous, with the different ones there. And then you have a different one. We won't go into that right now. Just want to stick with this, what we are doing, subject matter right now. We will go through these. In fact, also in some other tutorial, I've already been through each of these in the very early tutorials. So this is the one I have as my text file. And so remember, if you change to this, get AZMAT System to change it rather than manually going the file open and wondering, oh, which one it is, which particular file, and so on. So get it to change. So for example, if I click here, and I've got all files. So when I click here, have I got some files here or I do not? I have here. These are all, you can see that different files of different type, but these are also actually database files, risk management, as you'll see later on. This is another one. So the risk management in here, it creates huge number of files. Literally, if you start using it on a daily basis, within probably a week, you might create hundreds of files. So it is really very important to keep different file names, the files of different types and different. That's why I've got here. This is miscellaneous, AZMAT miscellaneous. And then you have AZMAT text files, the query files. That's why also the idea is you don't have to then give it a file directory or folder each time. Otherwise, you would have to, it'll take too long for you to have the command each time. So by not having to, if you already store these files in certain directories or folders, then we save that one step. And that's why I've chosen to store these here. Then you look at this one. There are yet again different files, as you may notice. These are for your rates environment. So all the reference curves, yield curves, those files, and we'll come to that later. So text files are here, and this has got only one file, but a very important file. It's a program file. And so there's this back is also completely different one. It's got different folders. These are all stored here in this under there. If I go here, you can see them all here. Right, so we won't go into details why it is there, they are there, and so on, different ones, just to let you know that each of these subfolders or subdirectories of AZMAT System program file, which is here, which has got, quite a lot of files, more than 100 files. These are all program files, and some the result of some calculations and some query files, but there are different query files. See, total more than 100 files. And so it's extremely important for you to get the stored files of different types in different areas. Otherwise, you'll have not just over 100 files, 130, 150 files, say, might have more than 1,000 files, and all in one directory, one folder, which will just be too confusing. And I wouldn't advise you to do that. So this is where I've got within, but they are all under the AZMAT System folder or directory. Okay, we're going to change now back to what we were doing. And I wanted to show you that by changing, let's say I'm going to change this here, not to the query file. I'm going to use this one here again. I was going to change to one of these others, but I don't want to do that because we're not going to use that one. Instead, I'm going to change it back to the, say, user's own directory or folder. Directories, you probably now know is as folder, but originally it used to be called directory, not folder. But if you are more used to the word folder, then by all means use that. Anyway, so changing to user's own directory. And if I say file open, as you can see, it should have the A0130, all that. No text files here at all. There. This is your user's own directory. And that's where we are. However, notice that when we ask AZMAT System to open it, open previously created query file, it knows that it's got to go and get it from this text directory, and it will go and get it from there without changing your the directory you have of current folder, if you like. Okay, let's show you. So we just, before we using it, we just came from here, we saw file open. There it is, F:\AZMAT. All the XLSX files are here. So I'm going to go there, file, menu, open previously created. And if I remember correctly, the file name I want to give it is db1229_2.txt. Right? Ask for the enter full name of the file and click the OK button. That is the name of an existing file. I know that because I checked it earlier on, if you remember, db1229_2.txt. I also have --_1, but I definitely do not have _e, which I tried once, and it came up with an error message, which was, I expected it to do so. Okay, this time it should come up with an error message. And I just wanted to show you that we have our current directory or folder is where the user file, this one, AZMAT AA.xlsx, is stored, AZMAT user's own directory. However, we are asking it to get this query file, all these text files that were opened from the AZMAT text subfolder or subdirectory. And it opens that. Doesn't say, oh, in the wrong directory I am logged in or whatever. And if you actually go and see that now, it wouldn't have changed it to the text folder or directory either. It would not have changed to, the AZMAT System doesn't change it to here, because that's where they got this query file from, this file. It got it from there, but it didn't change that. Directory will still be the same. User's own directory, that's where you before we use the command, we saw that. And now if I go and look at it, I'm not changing it. I have not clicked it. I'm just showing you. So if I go back, if I say file open, I should see that, because that is where I am still there. I'm not logged into the query or text files directory. And no text files here. I mean, it's in the old files. So if it was there, it would have shown. Okay, so it doesn't change the folder or directory. It will get it wherever it needs to get it from, but leave the current folder or directory which the user decided to use, which is, this is the one you have, your user file. So if I go and quickly have a look at this one, so we have a few files open now. This is the one we just opened. Always when it opens, the most recent is at the top in here. So this is what we have here. We just opened db1229_2, and this is a volatility file, and it has 21 records. Okay, we will continue with this one. So we went before, so in the previous tutorial at 129 number, we did 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 commands created about 15 to 20 files. And now we're going to continue here, and we just asked, these were the files here, which were the ones we saw, 3 or 4, which I've opened here. For example, I'll just show you here. I go in here, these are all we'll put this one in the background because we're not going to do anything right now on that. This one, that one, and I have another one here. Right, so we are going to now go and use one of these other commands. So we did the same instrument correlation. Remember that the last tutorial we did, it gets the correlation of the second currency or commodity, but the same instrument as the first one. And because we say same instrument, currencies, and the first one can't be a currency and the second one commodity if you use this command. And or the first one can't be for the first one, if it's a currency, the second one cannot be a commodity. It has to be currency because we are saying same instruments. And currencies and commodities don't have the same instruments. Commodities have got a commodity instrument, and currencies have got different instruments, but not a commodity instrument. So for the same instrument command, it must be both the first and the second must be both currencies or commodities, can't be a mixture. Whereas for this one, all instrument correlation, the first one can be a currency, second can be a commodity, or the first one can be a commodity, second one can be currency, or the same. It has to be, but they do not have to be. They can be different. So we'll do this one now, same instrument correlation for all currency or commodity. So this one, if we go for this one now, let's see. So this particular one, what does it do? First, just have a quick brief. We'll look at this now before we actually start using the command. So what does it do? Same instrument correlation for all currency or commodity. Correlation for same instrument of all the currencies or commodities versus currency and instrument or commodity and instrument. We'll do some examples, then it will become clear, hopefully. against a given currency and instrument or commodity and instrument, this command retrieves all correlation data of the same instrument type as that entered for all currencies and commodities in the file. Okay, so let's use the actual command. So the user is required to enter currency or commodity code followed by its instrument code. So for this one, we're actually, first thing to begin with, we will say which particular file we want to use first. Then we get told, because the file and the directory is all these commands, the ones we saw here. I can't go there now because I've got this input box open. So I have to finish what I'm doing here. And I don't have any, this date is given here, August the 15th, 2018, is because it's taking the date, more or less, of the file I had it last time. So I want to use, in this particular case, let's see. If I use daily correlation, but I have to change the date. I can keep the DC. So for example, for that one, 12/29/00. That I have here, 12/29/00, daily correlation, remember. And what I'm saying is it is quite a lot of the result data compared with the others. But let's see here. So daily correlation 12/29/00.rm3 asks for the correlation file. If I add dv, that'll be daily volatility, and that should come up with an error message because it's asking for the correlation file, not a volatility. So this must not be dv. It can be dc, daily correlation, or monthly correlation, mc. Anyway, I'll keep this one here for now, DC tilted and that, and then also ask for the directory where that file is. So the reason I'm asking here is then it gives you, the user, an option to use different files stored on the same computer system, but could be just by changing a different file, by changing the actual directory, you could use it from many places, but usually always is in the same one. So if you store your these volatility and correlation files here in this directory, then it will automatically, the AZMAT system will give the one it assumes it to be there. Of course, but you are free to change it if that's not the correct directory. Please enter currency or commodity. This means one or the other, right? Currency or commodity. Then instrument. Instrument, as you know, like this one here, commodity instrument, or in here, S05 or Z02 or A0130. All that depends on the actual whether it's currency or commodity and so on. So it's asking me to enter currency or commodity, then instrument in upper or lowercase, and separate each item by a comma. For example, US dollar A0130, 30-day rates for US dollar. GBP, pound sterling, British pound sterling, SE. So I'm going to enter now. So it's asking me, so this command basically what it does is against a given currency and instrument. So for example, here, currency and instrument is that, or GBP, that comma SE, against a given currency instrument or commodity instrument. So for example, I can have a copper commodity instrument, say C03 or C15 or C27 in this case. Or if I was going to say gold, then commas. In this case, remember, I've got the dots here, full stops here. This is, I'm using in the result file, so that is I decided to use that. But in here, when the input box, it always expects you to use a comma, actually telling you it's separated by a comma. But in the result files, query files, I chose to use dots. Yeah, it's easier to see for the eyes. That's what I thought. So that's why I'll be using that. But in here, so for example, commodity. So here it says currency or commodity, then instrument. You have to enter. So for against a given currency and instrument. So US dollar, and the instrument could be, say, for example, S05. Or commodity and instruments. So I could say copper C03. Against the commodity instrument or currency instrument, this command retrieves all correlation data of the same instrument type as that entered for all currencies and commodities in the file. So this really will get quite a lot of data from the correlation file, which contains, we can't see it here, is behind this, about what, more than 115,000 rows of data. So let's give it, let's keep it, we don't want too many, I particularly don't want to have hundreds of them right now. So let's first do this one. Let's take the, say, for example, copper, and we'll say 15, C15 is the instrument. But we'll use the other ones as well, like US dollar or GBP as well too, which will get huge amounts of data, but let's get that. So I'm going to say copper C03, so currency or commodity, then instrument. So it'll be COP, comma, C03, that's my instrument. That's what it's expecting you to enter. Right? Currency or commodity, then instrument. So I'm going to use here COP as copper, as commodity, and the instrument. Remember, instrument. So it's expecting one instrument in this particular case. Now I'm going to use, I decided to use C03. So C03. So enter currency or commodity, then instrument. And now I'll say click OK. So that's what it's expecting. So against a given currency and instrument or commodity and instrument. So for this, for copper, and the instrument is C03, get all correlation data of the same instrument type as that entered. So the instrument type is what? CC. For that same instrument type as that entered for all currencies and commodities in the file. Right, let's do that, see what happens now. And you may remember I had turned the screen update feature on. So I want to see as it's actually getting the data. So we should see, rather than please wait, and then, you could be waiting maybe for some short commands. It will be seconds, but it could be minutes for very long commands. So let's see here. But because I've chosen that, there may not be as many as if I chose one of the US dollar or GBP or JPY currency and then one of the instrument types. Let's see here, because the commodities here is saying, so get for all the, so we are asking it to get correlation for same instrument of all currency or commodity versus currency and instrument or commodity and instrument. So same instrument type, that's the main thing. So in here, that's what we have. The instrument type is C. Right. As you notice, that's it, 33. I knew it won't be so many because the commodity, if you can see that here, we chose copper, always the command, whichever I'm using, I always, in here, I always give the command here. So that whenever someone looking at the query file, at the top and at the bottom of the file, the actual command, I've summarized the command. You really have to know what type you're talking about in order to understand. So because I'm not giving the whole command here. I'm saying, yes, this is correlation file for that, because 115,921, these first rows are from the actual correlation file. 150,921 rows. Command is correlation for correlation file, Y menu, and _5. So Y, not really _5. Command is actually 5. I've separated using underscore because it stands out in here. So on the Y menu, which is from add-in, and the command first character is number 5. So this one is 5 there. Stat command. Remember, I said first the character of the command, because the character, then number 5 is also character. Whereas these are letters. So if I said first letter, then you say, oh, well, that's not a letter. So if you say first character of the command is 5 on the Y menu, then you can see Y menu, and there really shouldn't be. The first character must be different, always. Always here. You shouldn't have any. Otherwise, AZMAT System, if you start using that, then Excel wouldn't know whether you mean, if you use the same, say for example, 2 there and 2 here, AZMAT System would know which command do you mean, this or that. So they always, you'll notice in here that the first character of the command is different. Always, all of the command. So that AZMAT System knows which command you mean. Right, so in here, this is number 5, same instrument correlation for all currency or commodity. So what it has done is, for the against a given currency and instrument or commodity instrument. So I chose commodity, copper commodity, and the instrument type is C03 there. Instrument type is C, but the actual instrument is C03. So for that, get the correlation for all. Get the correlation. So for that, for the same instrument type as that enters. So instrument type is C. Type is C for all currencies and commodities in the file. Now, if you remember from the last tutorial, 129, you know commodities and currencies from this command. In fact, when you came here, same instrument, correlation, currencies, and in this command, you cannot have currencies. First cannot be currency, second commodity, or first can't be commodity, second currency. Both must be currencies or both must be commodities, because the instrument type C, which is a commodity instrument, cannot be or any currencies. So if you notice here, you have aluminium, copper, and if actually I'm just going to come out of this here, take this off, I'm still here. Aluminium, copper, copper, and this here zinc, and you have all the other platinum, silver, nickel, and so on. They're all commodities, if you notice. Gas, and so on. Okay, and that's why, and they're all commodities. Instrument type is C. But there's no rates. There are no what else? We've got the SE instrument. R instrument is not here, and if I make this smaller here, you can show you here. US dollar. So you have R 30-day rates, 180-day, 90, and so on. Or Z. All these, they're not there. Okay, so they're all those instruments are for currencies only, and the commodities have got instrument type C. That's why all of them, both of this side, you'll see only commodities. That's why there are not so many, 33 matching records. Let's do the same one, same command. This time I'm going to use a currency. So same instrument correlation, right? Number 5. I'm going to say, I'm going to use instead of here, I had to use commodity, and the instrument type has to be C because it's a commodity. It cannot be, if I used R, it would have given me, or should have given me, an error message. In fact, let's try that. Let's see that, see what happens now. So I'm going to use copper, and instead of C03, because I should use C0003, 0 so after that C15, C2, C27. But okay, let's use in here, and the command type, you remember, is number 5. Not command type, command is number 5. Not the 5th command, but the first character of the command is 5, and then the Y menu, which is here, this one. So let's use the same, and this time I'm going to say, instead of a commodity instrument, I'm going to give it, say, R. See what happens, you'll see. First, that is the actual file name. So I'm going to leave the file name same, and of course the folder directory is the same. Now, copper, instead of C03, I'm going to change this to, sorry, by mistake, I just clicked the, press the return key. So in fact, actually, it's done something. What have I done? Have I actually, because it was all, that was the last one, I think. So in fact, it's done. If I am going to, I have no choice but to click OK. I'm going to just go back here. If you notice, this TC1229_3, this was my last file. And I'm going to move this here away slightly. And you can see this one, I had done this command at 1:38:16 seconds. This is 1:46:12 seconds. So different time, 8 minutes later. But the actual, you can see that the actual command is exactly the same. So I use the same command. In fact, I was going to actually change it, but I pressed the return key by mistake, and it just went ahead straight ahead. So, but notice it has entered given the file name difference. So DC1229_3 and DC1229_4.txt. The files should be exactly the same because the command is the same, copper CO3. Okay, exactly the same. So if I go and look at the end as well, right. So you can see exactly the same thing there. If you want to, you can check it later yourself. Give the command and then again do the command, you'll see that the result file will be exactly the same. Right, let's just do this time. I am going to say here, same instrument correlation for all currency commodity. And this is the file name. Actually, the correlation file is that. I've used the same file. And the folder or directory is that. And this is where it went wrong. By mistake, I actually either clicked on the OK or I clicked I pressed the return key. So it just basically took the last command and did it again. I wanted to change, instead of C, I wanted to put in, say, R. And of course, there is no R03, but there is R030, 30-day rates. And so please enter currency, commodity, then instrument. In upper lowercase, for example, now R030, upper all lowercase. So for US dollar currency, there is an instrument type, is R, is there, but not for a commodity, which is copper. So it should not proceed with the command. You know, it might just, it cannot indeed, because there is nothing it cannot find, because this R030, whereas this is a valid instrument for one of the currencies, for example, US dollar or GBP, but it's not a valid instrument code for a commodity. It's copper, that could be any commodity, it's not. Okay, let's just click OK. There, error. That's what I was expecting. Copper is a commodity code, and therefore currency instrument, see this is the currency instrument R030, is not valid. So click OK to return to the input box, or click cancel to cancel this command. So I'll click OK because I want to go back and enter correctly. So I'm going to change the actual currency. From instead of copper, I'll keep the rate same, and I'll use a currency. So let's use GBP, for example, British pound sterling. And the rates, 30-day rates. So I've got that currency there. And let's go. So this time, it should take much longer. And there will be, I'm expecting quite a few records, more than 33 for sure. Because we are saying, this particular command says what? It says correlation for same instrument of all currency or commodity versus currency and instrument or commodity and instrument. So against a given currency and instrument. So against GBP is the currency and the instrument is R030, 30-day rates. This command retrieves all correlation data of the same instrument type. So remember, instrument type is R. Instrument is R030, 30-day rates is an instrument, but the instrument type is R for rates. So it should get the correlation of data of the same instrument type as that entered. The user has entered R030. So the instrument type is R. for all currencies and commodities in the file. So in the file, I'm trying to see whether I write in the top of the file, you know, but hopefully you remember by now, it's got 100 there. I can see it here because it's on the first row, where it's there in the row 1, column 1, it's there. 115,921 rows of data this correlation file has. So it's saying, get the correlation for all for the same instrument type. So the instrument type is R. So we should not actually get any commodities, right? Because in this case, if you notice here, for the copper, this one, copper C03, there are only 33 matching records because the commodity, the instrument type is C. Instrument is C03, but the instrument type is C for commodity. And so, and this command is to get the correlation of the same instrument type, which is commodity. So it will only be commodity. So in this case here, it's a currency. So same instrument type will be R for rates. So there should not be any, I'm not expecting any commodities in this results file now, which the one we'll get. Okay, let's go. So, but this we definitely expecting quite a lot. So it should take some time, maybe not too much because it is reasonably fast machine, not one of the very old machines with an XP. So not XP, with the Windows XP, I meant. Right, okay, click. So GBP A0130. So for get here, basically I'm asking it to get for instrument type R, all the correlations for that. If you notice, so when there is a slight gap, it basically actually stops calculating the others, getting it the others, then goes on and on, if necessary. But here it's got 111 matching records. So we have, make it slightly smaller. So we have for GBP, instrument type is R, instrument is R030, 30-day race, actual instrument. Instrument type is the first letter, so it's a race, R. For commodity, it was C for commodity. But instrument was C03. C03 is the instrument, and the instrument type is C, commodity. Okay, let's have a quick look. So 111 matching records here, and I said we shouldn't really see any commodities in here because commodity doesn't have rates instrument as an instrument. So if you look through the whole lot here, shouldn't find any commodities. So if I go down here, so we have the currency, GBP, the US dollar, and you have all these others, but there's no commodity. New Zealand dollar, Norwegian krona, and so on. Malaysian rupee, Mexican, I'm not sure. And right, basically, and Japanese yen, and so on, Italian lira, and so on, GBP, Hong Kong dollar. So you can see all of these, there is none of them are commodities. And we didn't expect that to be so, because the instrument type R, rates, is only a currency, is rates. Rates, the type, instrument type R, is for currencies only, no commodities. So let's now actually, we'll quickly try to just simply, I'm just going to do these carry on various commands. And before I do that, I actually want to close some of these files because I think I have quite a few open now. You have altogether 8. I'll always leave the use of data file there. Don't close it as such. So let's close some of these. Don't save any changes. Whenever it's asked to save changes, I'll keep this one, probably this one too, but close some of these earlier ones. Don't save that. Close. Keep that here. I can use that to close as well. So whichever way I use. Don't save. Close. So I have closed a few. Right. Only got 2 of these left, and the data file, AZMAT data file, obviously there. Okay, let's. I'm going to use now. I'm just going to use some commands just to give you some idea of example of this. Right. So we used that one already, GBP A0130. Leave that. So this one basically got all the correlation data of instrument type R for all currency and commodities against GBP A0130. So let's use that command again. And this time I'm going to say file, the same instrument type, right? And the file name I'm going to keep the same, the folder is the same, or directory. So GBP, R030. Instead of that, I'm going to use the Deutschmark. So DEM and say Z1 dash. Z1 underscore. I said dash, but I meant underscore. Okay, so this one, what we're basically saying is, AZMAT system to do is retrieve all correlation data of instrument type Z. Instrument type is Z, because I've used 1 underscore. So basically saying for instrument type Z for all currencies and commodities against Deutschmark Z10 and Z15. Because I said 1 underscore, remember, so it'd be 1, 0, 1, 5, and so on. But the 20 year wouldn't come 20, it shouldn't match because it's 1 underscore. That's what I said. Right, let's just do it. $305 matching records were found. Not more than some of the earlier ones, 4 records, 30 records, and so on. And the reason being, because you're saying in here for Deutschmark, instrument type, instrument for Z1 underscore means Z10, Z15, and so on. For that, as you can see, Z10, Deutschmark, Z10, Z15, Deutschmark, Z10, Z15. This changed the Aussie dollar, Australian dollar there, Z02, Z03, Z04, and so on. 3 and 5 matching records. Now, I'm just going to save time, I'm just going to do various different combinations. So I'm going to say now, because you can do all these yourself on your machine when you get AZMAT System. You just play around. So this one I'm going to use again. Same the file name, same folder is the same file, and Deutschmark. So Deutschmark, instead of Z1 underscore, I'm going to use S0. S0, and so this would be whatever S, but not SE. Remember that. Be after the S0, C whatever, anyway. For Deutschmark, that get it. So might just see as okay, finished. 591 matching records. And that's the reason, as you can see, actually happening. If you remember, I had turned this screen update feature on. So I wanted to deliberately, I wasn't too bothered if it takes slightly extra time, but I wanted to see. So I had turned this screen update on, off. So if it's on, I'll put it off. If it's off, I'll put it on when you use the same command. So it toggles between one and the other. Right, let's just use another of these. So I'm going to use, so I hope it is clear, but let's just, before actually I use that, I'll just have a quick look at it. Where is it there? So Deutschmark S0 underscore. So we can see that for 0 underscore. So it could be 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. But if you notice, it does not have, say, S10, 15, 20, if there was, because you're saying 0 underscore. If I said S underscore, then whatever after S comes, it would use that to match. But for that particular instance, if I'm here, right. So AZMAT System retrieves all correlation data of instrument type S for all the currencies and commodities against. Now remember, it cannot have commodities in here because this S0 underscore, there's no commodity which has got that as an instrument type. So for commodities, the instrument type would be C00, C03, and so on, but not the S, not a valid commodity instrument type. Now I'm going to use just a couple more commands here. So Deutschmark, this time I'm going to say, actually I don't have to use Deutschmark, I don't know why I'm using it all the time. Let's use some other currency. So there's that, folder is the same. Deutschmark, I have Let's change it to, say, JPY. Can be uppercase or lowercase, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make the slightest difference. So JPY, for that, I say S0 was that, just S. JPY, instead of S0 underscore, which I had for the Deutschmark, I'm going to say JPY S underscore. So whatever after S. So it could be S023457, so on, but also SE as well. So against that, JPY get the data, whatever there is, in 115,921 rows of data. So JPY S underscore. Right, it's done that. 711 matching records were found. Because it's got S023457, so and so. Then you have again going down there, then there. I stop somewhere here. Then you have again French franc and so on. In fact, I'm not going to go through each one because there's nothing. This is it. You can look at it at your leisure. Run these commands and have a look at it and see whether it's actually getting the data so you can understand if anything is not clear. Because it's all self-explanatory in my view. Anyway, so jpy.s underscore is basically, remember when in here I'm using in my result files, I'm using dot, full stop, or period. Whereas in your actual input data, you're never using dot, comma, so full stop rather, always using comma. So for this one, I'm going to put it here. Again, the same instrument correlation there. Keep the same file name. Folder name, directory name is the same. JPY underscore S, JPY comma S underscore. That's what I used last. So this time I'm going to use the copper as the currency. So currency, sorry, not currency, copper is the commodity. Copper is the commodity here. So I'm going to use copper. And in fact, if I use that, it should come up with an error message because that's not a, there your copper is a commodity code. Therefore, currency instrument, this is a currency instrument. So copper is a commodity code and therefore currency instrument has the not underscore, not a value. So click again. Okay, let's go that again. So copper underscore. So I'm going to say copper C underscore. Now that is a valid commodity instrument type C. So that's fine. So get that one right. Let's just do it. Yeah. 126 matching records found. I'm not going to go through the whole lot. It's quite clear. There all you can see both sides. You have the commodities. Right. Let's now have a quick recap here. So when we use this command, it asks for the correlation file name and the directory or folder, full path name of that. Then currency or commodity code followed by, so currency commodity code followed by the instrument code. So each item should be separated by a comma, remember, in the actual input box. It can be in upper or lowercase. So AZMAT System then prepares a query text file in which any matching data from the correlation file is placed. The name of this saved text file is generated by AZMAT System, and the file is saved in the subdirectory called AZMAT text, where AZMAT System is installed. First 6 characters of the query file name are the same, like all the other commands we used before. First 6 characters are the same. So DC1229. Of course, when you give the file name, the correlation file name, whatever, for example, we had TC1229.00.rn3 or whatever. Okay, let's now, so I'm going to actually stop now. I think we will continue with this command, the other one later on. But if you look at it quickly here, we have quite a few files in memory. All these we just did, except maybe one or two, one perhaps or two earlier ones, which was before. Okay, so let's, I'm going to stop right now. In fact, more or less, we'll continue with this later on. Right, so that is that, 12, 11 there. So this one, 11, 12, 13. Right. Okay, let's stop now. We'll continue. We'll do this command at the later in the later video, later tutorial, and then these as well, and we'll see. So for now, first, as normally, I always go there. Wanted to see. I'm going to actually just go there, and in fact, I just want to show you something. If I go here, the command is save AZMAT data file. Okay, save AZMAT data file. That's the command. Now, either I could actually, as I've done that previously in other tutorials or in this one as well earlier on, I came to the actual file, and then I said save AZMAT data file. Now remember here, we got 16th of August, 12:31 a.m. I could be here, not here. I actually want to change the file name. I could be there. This could be my active file name. Or if I come down here, 8, 9, 8 there. Right, I'm here. Remember, the actual data file is there, aa.xlsx. But I could use until 12:31 a.m. You can just about see it here. In fact, if I move it slightly, 12:31 a.m. there, I'll be here, for example. Right, I can use that command from. So if I say from here, utility menu, 16th August, 12:31 a.m. Save AZMAT data file. I'm actually on another file, which is here, not on the actual data file itself. So I don't have to go there. If I say, right, save AZMAT data file, there. It was 12:31, now it's 2:17 a.m. And so I don't have to go there to find before issuing the command. So I can be anywhere. So I'm in here. So what I'm going to do is actually save this one. Having saved it rather, then I'll come out of it. I could actually now say quit AZMAT, do not save any files. because I've already saved the actual data file, which matters. All the query files, they're already saved and then kept in memory here in read-only mode. So that's where I'm going to stop like that using that. Okay, let's just finish this now. And we will continue this in a later tutorial. So see you in another tutorial now. Bye.